Well, hello, and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and iTWireTV video interview. I'm joined today by Nick Schneider. He's the CEO of Arctic Wolf, a global leader in cybersecurity operations, delivering the first cloud-native security operations platform to end cyber risk. Nick, welcome to the program.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. Now, Nick, can you please remind us of Arctic Wolf's mission and the value you deliver to customers globally in 2026 and your focus in Australia right now?
Yeah, so Arctic Wolf has a mission of ending cyber risk. We've built a security operations platform that's operating now at massive scale with really the intent to be delivering the outcomes that you'd expect of a security operations center on a centralized platform and delivering, those outcomes in a way that is easy for customers to understand, incredibly efficient, and, staying ahead of new techniques and tactics that are being used by the bad actors, as well as continually developing new products and technologies on top of the core platform that we've built. So we've made significant investments in the product and in the platform. We've done a decent amount of M&A over the past year to add endpoint technology, to add CTEM technologies, and we've also made a substantial investment in the Australian market by growing the team now, which is, 2 or 3 years ago would have been 0 to, I think it's now 75.
Wow.
And growing quickly. So, we're really excited about what we've built as an organization globally. We're really excited about this market, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of things happening in Australia. We're a big country, similar in size to the US, although in the middle it's mostly desert. But, people are building data centers here. I was at an event last night where they want to put a data center inside of a shipping container, take it to where the solar and wind farms are, and power it directly from the energy that would otherwise be wasted in transmission or not available because you've got to power things down. So there's a lot of excitement about Australia being a player in this space. And of course, we have all the same security problems that everybody else does. But look, Nick, you've been in Australia the last few days. So what are you hearing from Australian customers at the moment? What's top of mind for them?
Yeah, I think there's two trends, and I think these are applicable both to the Australian customers that I've spoken with this week, as well as the partners that we've engaged with as well, but also I think are relevant, globally. So number one is a pretty substantial push within the market to consolidate to more centralized platforms. And what I mean by that is garner, multiple outcomes via a centralized vendor. I think that reduces some of the complexity with regards to security operations, but also allows customers to get a more efficient system in place as well as a more efficient operation. So we've made a lot of advancements in that regard, and I think we've served that purpose for our customers quite well over time. The second being, advancements in AI. And what I mean by that is not only advancements with regards to AI's use within an organization or AI's use more broadly, but also, how AI pertains to new cyber risks, how AI itself could become an additional attack surface, but also on the proactive side, how AI could be leveraged to combat bad actors or combat, the attacks that may come from those bad actors as a result of their use of AI. So consolidation, platformization within cybersecurity, I think is very real. I think AI, the use of it and the security of it or the use of it for security are other top of mind topics, which I'm sure are relevant to the Australian base, but also are clearly relevant to the market more broadly.
Yeah, well, that segues beautifully into my next question. And, AI can be very helpful. Attackers are finding AI bots that are just sitting there. Someone forgot to switch it off. There's identity management software that people are trying to put in place to shut off AI when it's no longer needed. And AI is very helpful. It wants to help you with the answers and it help you to. It's just amazing that AI can be so easily fooled. And vendors like Anthropic are moving quickly and pushing powerful AI tools into the market. And I'm personally a big fan of Claude and Claude Code work, but that's just me as a journalist. I know people are using Claude Code and it's just going nuts, and all the competition is coming up with similar things. But you were talking about the attack surfaces. should organizations be cautious about adopting these Claude Cowork and Perplexity Computer and similar things from Google? I mean, the risk is not being overstated, is it?
No, I think organizations do need to be careful here, and they need to be careful in a number of regards. Obviously, the use of AI by bad actors just increases the ability for those bad actors to leverage typical techniques or historical techniques like phishing or otherwise to be able to fool an employee into, inputting their credentials or doing something that, would otherwise compromise their organization. I think similarly, the use or the advancements in AI are opening up a new opportunity for employees to be more productive by leveraging these tools to do things that otherwise would have taken, hours or days in minutes or seconds. But the risk that's associated with that is in the manner in which those tools are used and the manner in which the systems that organizations use to power their, organization are connected into those systems, the manner in which the data within an organization is leveraged or not leveraged within those systems, either knowingly or unknowingly by the organization itself. And all those things provide potential risk, but also opportunity. So I think what we're going to see as a trend here is certainly the adoption of AI within organizations really start to accelerate as these models become more and more powerful. I think in kind with that is going to be the necessity for organizations to really think hard about the policies that they have regarding the use of AI, the security that they have in place with regard to the use of AI, in which vendors and which organizations they work with to ensure that while on the one hand they can garner the efficiencies and the benefits that the tool provides, but on the other hand, that is not offset by undue risk to the organization. So it will certainly be something that organizations will have to balance, and it's an area that Article is here to help.
Yeah, and the ability for the AI hackers to make sure that there's no spelling mistakes in the phishing emails and they've cloned the site perfectly. I mean, that's been available for a while now, and it's much higher level issues. I mean, the bad guys are using AI to fool us, and the good guys are using AI to protect us. And it's the whack-a-mole game. The cat and mice game continues.
That's right.
Yeah. What's one mistake you're constantly seeing organizations make when they introduce these tools into their environment, which they are doing with greater, rapidity and urgency and pace? Even though we've seen some of these AI projects fail, people still want to use them. So, what are some of the mistakes they're making?
Yeah, honestly, I think the biggest mistake or the biggest challenge for organizations is that these tools are being used by consumers, by their employees outside of work. And
Shadow AI.
right. And those employees realize the power that these tools can bring to them as an individual, and therefore the power that these tools can bring to them within their day-to-day jobs or within their work life. And where those two things intersect is where there's danger. So I think for organizations, like first and foremost, it's about clarity with regards to which tools can or can't be used, how they should or shouldn't be used, the type of data that should or shouldn't be used within those tools. And if you have appropriate policy enablement and training, I think you can get ahead of a lot of the potential issues. I think secondarily, organizations need to think about how would we then prevent potential risks that might come from the misuse based on the policy that the company sets or the organization sets with regards to the use of these tools. And I think that requires a little bit more diligence in the way in which they bring these tools to their employee base, which tools they license from an enterprise perspective, how those tools are monitored, how threats are detected or responded to within those tools as a new attack surface. But I think first and foremost is clarity with the employee base around an understanding that these tools are powerful. Yes, they can help you in your job. These are the tools that we have vetted or that we're leveraging enterprise-wide, and this is how you should use those tools. And I think, like anything in cybersecurity, awareness around the threat, awareness around the risk can solve for quite a few problems. And then you're really solving for areas within that profile that fall outside of the policy or where human either advertently or inadvertently it makes a mistake and does something that they shouldn't have and puts themselves or puts the company at risk.
Yeah, and look, things are moving very fast in the world of IT and AI even faster. I mean, it's going at turbo boosted speed. And I mean, as we've often heard, people overestimate what something can do, like what AI can do within the next, within 2 or 3 years, but underestimate what it does in 10 or 15 years. And is the industry getting ahead of itself when it comes to what AI can realistically deliver in cybersecurity?
I think within cybersecurity, yes. Now, I certainly think there are certain applications within cybersecurity that AI will be extremely powerful. I think that in the core or the heart of cybersecurity, how you operationalize these tools, how those tools provide benefit to your organization, the outcomes that those tools can provide with regards to your overall risk posture and how that posture pertains to business outcomes, I still think requires a human in the loop or a human on the loop, depending on how you look at it. Whereas, the AI is doing a certain subset of tasks, but still has a human that has cyber experience and deep domain experience there to ensure that the output, the recommendation, the action is appropriate for a potential threat or the potential incident that a customer might be dealing with. And for us, that's where we've really focused, is like, how can we leverage AI to make our security operation more beneficial to the customer without asking the customer to be an expert in how to build an agent for AI use cases or AI skills or security skills without the backstop of the data and the reinforcement learning and the cybersecurity expertise to really make the trust behind those solutions shine through for an organization.
Yeah, I mean, companies are busy with all sorts of agents. They're looking to their security partners to deliver one that's customized for their security needs, and clearly that's where Architect Wolf is spending money and working amongst
That's
all
right.
the other things you do with security. From a security operations center perspective, with all the investment going into AI as it is in many areas of the industry, have you actually seen a material improvement in how teams detect and respond to threats, or are they still dealing with the same core challenges?
So we'll be making an announcement here at RSA or around our superintelligence SOC, and what we mean by that is that we're leveraging AI within our SOC, in the SOC that powers the outcomes that we provide to our customers, which commercially is the world's largest SOC. And we're building AI into that SOC on top of a golden data set that I think is second to none in the industry, and by leveraging context across trillions of cybersecurity events that are flowing through this platform to be able to perform skills that otherwise would have to be performed almost entirely by humans. And where we've seen real benefit in our SOC has been in skill sets that historically would be triage skill sets or threat hunting skill sets, threat intelligence skill sets, advisory-based skill sets, where if you can leverage data and diversity of data at scale against real-world cybersecurity context, you can put those things together and quickly identify threats, quickly remediate threats, or automate response actions to those threats. And on certain attack surfaces, endpoint being one, identity being another, you can make some really massive efficiency improvements. And efficiency, I mean, both in terms of the level of lift that is required to be able to solve for the alerts or the impact to the business, but also secondarily, the efficacy of the work that's being done against those alerts within the SOC. So the output to the customer is, wow, like I get a more efficient outcome faster and potentially with better efficacy. And I know if I'm leveraging the Arctic Wolf SOC that I get the benefit of AI and the speed and the efficiency and efficacy that comes with that, but that I also have this human in the loop that validates and allows me to trust the output that's being given by the AI tools within the SOC. So it's that marriage of the two that I think is going to be really powerful for the foreseeable future, and is an area that we're spending a lot of time and energy, and I think within cybersecurity are leaders.
Is there anything else that you announced at RSA that you want to briefly recap, and how this pertains to how you were doing, what you were doing differently to help customers manage this increasingly AI-driven, complicated yet simplified, this environment that is so turbulent and changing almost every
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that we referenced at RSA that are going to be really important. One is obviously the AI-powered SOC, how that fits into the Arctic Wolf story and our security operations center and our mission as a company to end cyber risk for our customers. Two is we've made substantial investments in integrations with third parties. So part of the value of Arctic Wolf is that we have a platform that can leverage our native tools, but also deeply integrates with third-party tools that a customer might have in their environment so that we have coverage over the entirety of their attack surface. We've made quite a few enhancements with regards to the velocity of those integrations. We have hundreds of them now in place. A large announcement at RSA here will be a deeper integration with Wiz with regards to cloud and cloud security and how Arctic Wolf and Wiz together can help customers solve for the outcomes that you'd expect of cloud security on top of the Arctic Wolf platform. And then there'll be quite a bit of conversation around the manner in which the platform has evolved over time. So we've added endpoint security this past year, and there will be some additional functionality on top of the endpoint platform that has been announced at RSA. We just made an acquisition of Sevco, giving additional visibility into the assets that the customers have within their environment, the manner in which they can protect against those assets, and how that ties into their overall security posture. So those are the areas that we will most focus on, or that we have focused on most at RSA, and I think are really, really important conversations for customers to be having internally, and I think fall directly into some of the trend lines that we talked about earlier in this call around consolidation in cybersecurity, simplicity in cybersecurity, and the use of AI to help organizations protect themselves.
I mean, I mentioned before about how the phishing attacks and the cloned websites are flawless now. I mean, I've even seen where people are in the, and this is old already, that put Citibank, but they use the Cyrillic letter A that looks similar to the letter A, and all the little tricks that they use to try and fool you just for that microsecond. I mean, the bad guys have used AI to attack us in a meaningful way, but everything you've just described is really showing how AI is changing the balance on how defenders are defending us in truly meaningful ways that make all the difference in the world.
That's right. It's a huge opportunity for organizations. Unfortunately, it is an opportunity for bad actors. But I think the cybersecurity community will band together to ensure that we leverage this technology to improve, the hand of the defenders as well.
Yeah. Now, you've already mentioned how AI is changing things, and of course, you can't give all of your upcoming roadmap secrets away because that's something that's under development and it's a competitive environment. But how are you thinking about the future roadmap of Arctic Wolf as AI becomes even more embedded in security operations?
Yeah, so two areas that I think folks should expect some material movement from Arctic Wolf on. Number one, we will continue to be opportunistic with regards to M&A by adding additional capabilities, both natively and through third parties or through M&A to the platform. So allowing customers to get additional outcomes and have additional coverage on top of our core platform. So that would be number one. Number two, there are some use cases that our customers, I think, have been interested in over time that will allow them to be more intimate with the platform itself. And we have quite a bit of investment going into the use and the leverage of those use cases with regards to the Arctic Wolf platform. And then third is the use of AI within our security operations. So giving customers the confidence that we are bringing to them the most up-to-date cybersecurity platform that they can possibly get in the market, and that within that platform, they're getting the benefits of an agentic framework that will allow them to get outcomes faster and allow them to get outcomes at a higher level of efficacy than they maybe would have before, and over time showing them within the UI and within the customer experience, which we will show and highlight at RSA, that this work is being done in a manner that is quite a bit faster than would have been possible, even a year ago, with regards to the ability to kind of get through an incident or get through a threat given the speed and the power of the AI tools.
Yeah, I'm certainly seeing how it's helping me dramatically speed up the work that I'm doing and maintain the quality, improve on the quality of what I can
Yeah.
produce. So I'm just blown away by that, and so is everybody else. It's just, it's clearly a defining moment in human history, and we're lucky enough to be alive to see it. Now, on a separate but related note, I've been following an organization called Cyber Minds with a Z or a Z at the end, .org, since its inception in 2022. And they're at RSA too. Maybe you guys can catch up and meet. But the organization exists to help companies defend their defenders, and specifically in their mental strength, with programs designed to improve focus, calm, and recovery for teams on the front lines. And, we in Australia, we've had one of our telecommunications companies a couple of years ago, a massive hack attack, but it was a third-party tool, right? And those people have been working, they can keep the company safe for 20 years, but some third-party tool has some sort of problem, and the next thing, you have government ministers screaming at you, and some of these people, take it really to heart. They get PTSD. They want to retire, resign, become a dog walker, get away from this craziness where, the phone call at 2 a.m. isn't your boss telling you what a great job. It's like, get in here, we're being attacked. So I'm just curious, and I ask this of all the different companies I'm involved with when I talk about cybersecurity, how does Arctic Wolf help its own staff and those of its customers deal with the undeniable stress of cybersecurity?
Yeah, great question. Obviously, with everything going on in the market, there can be an incredible amount of stress, both just in a everyday environment, but also in particular during the time of an incident. So we do a few things. We spend a lot of time and energy and resource in ensuring that our teams are trained appropriately, right? So one of the easiest ways to feel more comfortable during a particular incident is to feel like you are trained to handle that incident. So we really make an effort to ensure that our teams are trained, have support, have resources, and have a group that they can lean on within the organization as they're working through any potential threat. Secondarily, we have what we call PAC Unity within the organization, and PAC Unity focuses on a number of different what we call alliances to help Arctic Wolf employees find comfort in different areas of their life, which intertwine both personal and professional. Two of those being mental health and well-being alliances, which are chaired by employees themselves. They meet regularly, talk about different challenges with regards to mental health and well-being. And one of the topics within that is obviously dealing with the stresses of just the environment itself, but also in particular the stresses related to being a defender in cybersecurity. So we take it very seriously. We apply resources both to training, but also to community, both within Arctic Wolf, but also more broadly within the cybersecurity community. And I think there's always room to improve, but I think we've done a pretty good job as an organization to at least set up avenues for our employee base to have those conversations.
Yeah, well, I really applaud your efforts. I think that's the best answer I've heard from a security company since I've heard of CyberMinds and covered them in 2022. And I do love that, the Arctic Wolf Pack Unity. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, with that giving me your final message, which I'll ask you about in a moment, what else should we know about Arctic Wolf that we haven't already discussed?
Yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit of ground here, right? So Arctic Wolf is a security operations provider. We're obviously leveraging AI in a meaningful way. I think our use of AI provides even additional, outputs or benefits to our customer base. And we're going to continue to look at adding additional products into the platform that provide additional capabilities for our customers, while simultaneously ensuring that we have deep integrations for the other tools and telemetry that might be available or security relevant within a customer's environment. So it's a dynamic market. Arctic Wolf, I think, has historically and will continue to play at the forefront of that market, and with the end goal being to end cyber risk for our customers through a combination of our products and services, through a combination of working with third parties, but also tying into the insurance community. So yeah, I think we've covered a ton of ground here, and I appreciate the time.
Yeah, well, just to finish on a couple of personal questions that I always like to end with, can you please share a memory of your first personal computer?
First personal computer. Um, oh boy. The first computer that I used was actually my neighbor's, and it was a Mac. And effectively what we were doing on that was playing the built-in games that came with the Mac with the floppy disks. Uh, and that was a ball. I remember my first experience was with the internet, the old modem connection. We were going on a family ski trip, and I like couldn't believe that I could see a webcam in Colorado from my house in Minnesota in real time. It was like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
But I like vividly remember experiencing that and saying, wow, the power of the computer and the power of the internet is something that's going to be truly remarkable. And here we are, whatever, quite a few years later, but here we are, and we're talking about not only the use of, compute and the internet, but we're talking about those two things together in a pretty powerful way, driving, artificial intelligence in a way that I don't think we would have dreamed of then. So it's a great time to be in technology, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to come.
Yeah, well, I mean, throughout my childhood, I read all those Isaac Asimov stories about robots, which were effectively, physical AI. And here we are, and it's finally beginning. Those dreams of childhood, and talking to Eliza, or Dr. Spitzo from the Creative Labs cards, and it was all sort of contrived, and it would ask you a question based on what you'd said. But now you're having these incredible conversations, and I mean, the insights and all the rest, it's again, mind-blowing, and here we are, it's affecting everything. So
Yeah.
can you please share also some of the best advice that you've received in life to help you get where you are today?
Oh, good question. I think throughout my career, whether it be in athletics or whether it be in the professional world, the golden rule has been something that I try to live by, right? So I try as best as I possibly can to treat others, and by others, I mean our customers, I mean our partners, I mean our employees, I mean my peers, as I would like to be treated. And I think as a North Star, that solves for a lot of problems that could potentially arise through, in particular, a market that's been a little interesting, a cybersecurity market that has had a lot of changes and is very fast moving, but kind of within all of that is a understanding or the reality that the world still moves and the world still happens by individuals and humans working together to solve problems, even if they're using different tools and different techniques and different tactics to be able to solve those problems. So I try to keep that in mind, despite a world that moves increasingly more and more towards virtual or machine, that at the end of the day, we're all humans trying to solve for similar problems, and the better that we can work together, the better off we'll be.
Well said. So, Nick, what is your final message to the viewers, listeners, and the readers?
Yeah, I would say, cybersecurity and AI are going to go together hand in hand. I think there's a massive opportunity. There's also massive, risk. What Arctic Wolf is here to serve is our customer base in their mission, in their effort to end cyber risk. We've done that now at scale of over 10,000 customers, and we'll continue to make massive investments to ensure that our customers, future customers, and partners get all the benefits of the platform that we've built and the community that we've built within our customer base. And we look forward to continue to serve our partners and customers, and are here with open arms, both in the Australian market, but also globally, to accept new customers and partners into the pack, as we say.
Absolutely. Well, Nick Schneider, CEO of Arctic Wolf, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Enjoy the rest of RSA, and I do hope we can speak again in the future.
Great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.